All right, welcome back to Blue by 90. I'm Justin, joined by Tanner, and we've got a special guest today, freshman Olivia Olson from the Michigan women's basketball team. Olivia, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. So, you have had quite the run already just coming in as a freshman. You guys just are coming off of your Big Ten tournament appearance, heading into the NCAA tournament. And so, I want to start back when you and I first met back in the summer leading into your freshman year, where you had no idea what college basketball is like, what college is like, what the University of Michigan is like. What were your expectations coming into Ann Arbor, and where are you at now with those expectations?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't have that many expectations like for the year. I wanted to come in and like be able to contribute and just do whatever it took like to get on the court, and you never know, like I just wanted to come in open-minded and work as hard as I could to try and get that opportunity. And yeah, I just feel like I came in open-minded, not expecting really anything, just to work hard. And yeah, I feel like we surprised a lot of people this year. Three freshmen starting is kind of crazy in college basketball, like at a Power Five. So I feel like we're like thriving, and so kind of I feel like we exceeded expectations. But we're working every day still, and feel like we've learned a lot this year. So I'm really thankful for the opportunity.
I have a question. I did my research on Wikipedia, so if it's wrong, that's on me and on Wiki. But I saw that you played varsity basketball as an eighth grader. Is that right?
Yeah,
What was the bigger jump? Eighth grade playing varsity or true freshman playing in the Big Ten?
Ooh, good question.
probably eighth grade,
Yeah.
because it was just I went from travel to like travel basketball to playing varsity, and I was just so much smaller then. Like I feel like I came into college like with my body like college ready. That's kind of what I focused on leading up to this, like my senior year, really getting stronger and stuff. So I don't think physically it was as hard. It was more like mental, like how fast the game was, and just like making decisions. And yeah.
So
I was gonna say, how tall were you in eighth grade? Because you're tall now. What are you? Are you 6 foot?
6 foot, 6'1".
Okay.
Yeah, I think I was about 5'11", probably. I haven't really grown much since eighth
I
grade.
mean, that's
So
a pretty
it's not
big
bad.
eighth grader.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, she
I
dropped
was
40. I saw. You dropped
yeah,
40? Okay.
yeah,
She dropped 40 in eighth grade, Jess. You know what
Wow.
I was doing in eighth grade
Wow.
basketball? Getting rebounds, setting picks, you know?
yeah.
I mean, hey, eighth grade basketball too. I think I was our manager on the eighth grade basketball team because you were taller than me in eighth grade. So it's a tough situation for now. I'm 6'3", so it helped, but I didn't jump up till a little bit later. But yeah, I mean that you ended up as a McDonald's All-American, correct?
Mhm.
And so obviously had a heck of a high school career. But to Tanner's point, then you're jumping in, and it's not just like, all right, I have to now practice with a Big Ten team. It's like, okay, no, I am one of the main ball handlers and scorers for a Big Ten team that's making a run at looking at a Big Ten title right now into the NCAA tournament. So has there been like pressure for you and Sila to come in and Mila, to come in? Has it been tough to handle that, or have you guys just taken it in stride?
Yeah, I think at the beginning, just it was a little overwhelming, just trying to like I don't know, live up to the expectations that people had on us. But also, I think it was honestly nice for us and our team that we didn't really know what to expect, like, especially going in the South Carolina game and those like early big ones was like, it was nicer to not really know what pressure there was on us because we were just going to play and like playing our style and playing like we just played hard. And so
Right.
I think us three playing together, like not knowing what the pressure was, and like how Jordan and Greta already knew like there was pressure playing in college, but we were just kind of playing like we always do. And so I think we've taken that, like we learned that early on, and so we've been doing that day by day. And obviously there's hard days and hard games, but I think by doing that and like just taking it day by day, it's helped us a lot, like not have to put pressure on ourselves because we again sometimes forget that we're so young.
I do too, watching you guys, because I will say, I watch a lot of college basketball, and whether it's freshmen or seniors, mistakes are made, right? It's still kids that are 18 to 22 years old. But you guys, I would say, just you do handle that pressure pretty well, and even I would say also like playing together. A lot of times I'm like, these kids look like, sorry, not to call you a kid, but we're old, washed up guys. We're 30 years old, but it's you guys look like you have played together for quite some time, where you have rhythm. It feels like you've been on the court. It just feels natural. When did that come about? Did you feel that from day one, or has that been something that's been progressing?
I think it's been progressing. The summer helped, like Mila and I playing together, and even playing with Jordan and Greta. Sila was with Team Canada in the summer, so we didn't really get to play with her. But I had known her, and she's the type of person that you don't really need much time to be able to gel with. But I think like just all finding our roles on the team and being able to play together a lot of minutes early on was helpful. And I think every game we got more and more comfortable, and I think it's like peaking at the right time. And so I think even the past few games, like we've been almost at our best, especially like us three gelling together, and we're so close off the court that I think that translates to on the court, like chemistry wise.
I was going to ask how you guys have had some stretches this year. You had a tough stretch when you had to go to Southern California, and then you came back home against Ohio State. And then you guys you lost 3 in a row, but then you rattled off 4 in a row. And then you had another tough one against Michigan State and Wisconsin, and rattled off another 4 in a row. Like, how do you guys keep just kind of fighting through? I mean, is that the culture? Is that just just the luck of the bout sometimes with basketball? Because it seems like you guys have maybe a couple games stretch where it's a little bit tougher, and then you guys rattle off a bunch of wins in a row. You guys have done that like 3 or 4 times this year.
Yeah, I think some of those, it was just like the California trip was hard because we knew going into it was against UCLA and USC, and we wanted to compete to the best of our ability, and just grow by it. And so I think even like comparing the first USC game to the second one was like a lot different. Our defense has gotten way better, just our confidence in pushing the ball. And so I think every game we just take as a learning experience, win or lose, and we come in the next day at practice and know what we need to work on. So after the Michigan State loss, we knew we had to up our intensity in practice. So we all took it up a notch. Defensively, more like player personnel wise, like keying in on that. And so then you could see that in the second game against them that we took it up a notch and were able to compete and be more physical. And so I just think we're all learning like what it takes to play at this level in college and like the preparation it takes. And so yeah, I just think we've been taking it up a notch intensity wise, and when we're at our highest intensity, like we're gonna play our best and our hardest. So I think that's what helps mostly.
Yeah, and I mean, I watched that USC game in the Big Ten tournament, and that was a 2-point game until the final like minute, right? And so I think if you would have asked a lot of whether it's fans, analysts, coaches around the conference to say, hey, this Michigan team with 3 freshmen starting was going to take Juju and USC in the Big Ten tournament down to the final minute, everyone would be like, no way is that going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So, I think it's one thing too, like, yes, obviously you're going out there to win every game, but there's also just progress to be made. And you have to take, some wins just in the game, right? I don't like to have those like moral victories, but when you're playing like against a player like Juju Watkins, you're going to take some of those because she's probably one of the best, if not the best player in the country, right? So, and then I think that also gives you, it projects you, into the NCAA tournament with some confidence. Like, hey, we do belong in on this court with anybody, right? We can run with anybody, and then you're going to find out. I mean, I've been watching college basketball, men's and women's, for a long time. Anything can happen in the NCAA tournament, right?
For sure.
You never know. And we were talking a little bit before we jumped on the show here, but you don't even know where you're going to be at, right? So you're going to learn on Sunday and then pick up your bags, and we'll see what happens. So how excited are you for that?
I can't wait. I think I've heard a lot of stuff about the selection Sunday. So, I mean, I've seen it on like TV the past couple of years, but now to be a part of it, I'm excited. And I sometimes forget to realize like there's not that many people who get to experience it. Like it's like sometimes I feel like you take it for granted being able to be in this opportunity. I'm excited to be in it for the first time. So I'm excited to go compete, and wherever we end up, I think we'll put on our best show.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things too. I think you're right about not taking it for granted because there are a lot of teams who don't make it, right? It's so I would say, you've already accomplished one goal of making the tournament as a freshman, right? And hopefully you can go 4 for 4 with that. Tell us a little bit about Coach KBA. So I know her a little bit. She's intense for sure. But it's like a loving type of intense as well. Give us a little scoop on what Coach KBA is like behind the scenes.
Yeah, intense is a great word for her. I love playing for her though. Like she knows the most basketball out of any coach, any like kind of mentor that I've been around. Sometimes she says stuff and I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of that, but like that makes perfect sense. So she pushes us to compete at our best, and when we think we can't go anymore, we're gonna go more. Like she wants us to be the best player we can be. I love like the player development style. We do a lot of like skill development and practice incorporated in it. So we're getting better every day. A lot of defense. She's big on defense and being able to like, you need to play defense to be able to play. And so just learning a lot of different stuff like that. In high school, I mean, we didn't really focus that much on defense. And so
you were just scoring 40. You were dropping 40. Who has time for defense when you're dropping 40,
Yeah, I mean, I tried, but now it's like you actually you're playing against people who are just as good as you, so you need to be able to defend, and that's what she expects out of us. And so I just love the intensity that she coaches with, and she loves us, and she's going to push us hard and make us better. And so that's what I like most about her.
I love it.
Justin, I'm going to go back to Wikipedia. Wikipedia pages. By the way, how does it feel to have a Wikipedia page? Is that kind of wild? Because, I don't know.
Wait, when did your Wikipedia page get created? That's a good
question. When did you find out, oh, my gosh, I'm on Wikipedia?
I didn't know until, I think it was my senior year, because the guy who created it came to one of my games. And he was like, do you know you have a Wikipedia page? And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, I created it. So I was like, okay.
Yeah. All right. Sure. Yeah.
Well, let's pass over that. But
well, okay. I don't know who put this in here then. I don't know if we can see like all the edits made, but it said that you had a dozen landscaping customers. Is that true?
Yes. I had a lawn mowing company in high school. Not like an official one, but mostly in my neighborhood. I would take the car, my dad would drive too, and I would just go mow their lawns for some extra cash.
Oh, and then it says, so your dad and your brother kept the business running while you were training and playing for Team USA a few years ago. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So did you have to give that up? You had to give up the dream landscape company aspirations?
I did. I'm not really in business anymore.
How did you, just want some extra cash? Just like, it seems like, just for an elite basketball player, that's just kind of, you don't hear those kinds of things. So I think it's really interesting and really unique and cool that you have such a work ethic and do things like that. Now, people just get NIL money, but you were mowing lawns for that coin.
Yeah, I started it with my brother and dad, not really like a company, just doing extra stuff because when I was probably in 8th grade, I played travel soccer and travel basketball. And so we would fly all over the country for both, and it was expensive. So my dad kind of wanted us to pitch in with flights and stuff to like see what our money or what our hard work was going for, like what our parents have to do to pay for that. So he would let me keep half the money, and then half the money it would go towards flights and stuff. And so that kind of just made me appreciate like them more and being able to work hard for that money. And so then once I quit club soccer, he just was like, you can just keep the money if you want. So I just kept doing it because I was like, this is such easy money. Like, why would I not? And so I would just spend my time mowing lawns and play basketball. So
You got to have some extra cash for like going to get ice cream in high school.
Sure.
For sure.
For sure.
For sure. So, okay, now you have one brother
And an older sister.
and an older sister. Were either of them athletes as well?
Yeah, so my sister played soccer in high school, not in college. And then my brother, he's like 15 months older than me. He plays soccer at Portland.
Okay, awesome. Can any of them like take you on a basketball court or a soccer field, or do you got it?
My brother for sure in soccer, but we always grew up playing, like I was the goalie and he plays in the field, so he would always shoot on me. So that's how we've always been close. No one else plays basketball though. No one else has ever played basketball. Okay. So my parents did in high school, but so he shoots with two hands though, my brother's, but he's kind of good. So I don't know how. But,
yeah. I'm judging a little bit, I'll be honest.
Hey, there's some guy for a mid-major that is doing the granny free throw shot. I don't remember what school, but it's pretty electric. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Have you ever thought about doing that? I mean, I'm sure you can make your free throws shooting normally, but has that ever
she shoots 83%. I looked. So
I don't know. I've seen TikToks of people like doing dribble combos at the free throw line for their free throw routine. I think that's funny.
That is pretty funny. What's your routine at the free throw line? Are you like a 2 dribble, just go, or what do you do?
Mine's 3 dribbles.
3 dribbles straight and then just shoot it. No behind the back or like we grew up here. It is 3-1-3 day as we're recording this for Detroit. And Rip Hamilton for the Pistons back in 2004. How old were you in 2004?
2004, wasn't born yet.
Oh my God.
2005.
Oh no. So
we are washed, man.
We are washed. But in 2004, the 04 Pistons were like the greatest team of all time. And Rip Hamilton used to do 2 bounces, 2 dribbles right here, and then go to the side for 1 dribble.
Yeah, I used to do that. I stole that in like 8 years old playing, whatever little league basketball. I stole that for sure.
For sure. Yeah. Well, have you ever there are some guys and girls that they take forever at the free throw line. And even when I played back in the day, I was like, the last thing I want to do is sit here and think about this free throw for a long time.
Yeah, I couldn't. Like Giannis takes a while. People, all the players will count. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you isn't that, I would be like, no, let me just rip this off and go. I don't want to think about it more than like 2 seconds.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah. So, all right. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was Jordan and Greta. So as you said, you have the 3, you're part of the 3 freshmen that came in and are starting now. Almost the whole roster turned over this past season, right? And except for Jordan Hobbs and Greta Kampschroeder. And so what have they meant in terms of just leadership and showing you the way and being like a rock in terms of, keeping something going from last year to this year?
Yeah, they've been awesome. They're great leaders. They have taught us the culture of Michigan and what coach expects. Like at the beginning when we were all nervous, there were only 4 returners. And so then, but only them 2 had really had a lot of playing experience. They taught us all the drills, what to expect from coach, kind of the intensity level, what to expect. And so they've just been, and then when we transition into games, they've been great at helping us early on, ease our nerves and just in games be able to pull us all together and say, okay, we're going to run this. It's okay. Maybe if coach gets a little heated, they're the ones to calm us down. And I just think Jordan's been great. Greta's a great leader. I think they mean a lot to this program for sticking with it. And even when other people were leaving, they believed in it. And maybe other outsiders didn't think the program would be in good hands, but they wanted to stick it out. They believed in Michigan and we all did too. And so I just think they're the 2 type of kids that you want in your program. And you want to be around and surrounded by, and their skill shows for itself too.
Were there any players? I feel like I keep switching gears because Justin keeps talking about the current stuff, which Justin, you're more tuned in than I am.
I'll talk about the current stuff. We'll go back to the Wikipedia.
I'll just keep going. No, I'm not going to Wikipedia. But are there any? When you were? Well, I have a couple more questions that are around this. But who did you watch as you were growing up? Was there anybody that you kind of base your game around that you watched as you were a little bit younger and kind of realizing, hey, I have the opportunity to go play at the collegiate level? Like, were there any players that you watched as you were growing up?
Yeah, I always watched Maya Moore. She played for the Lynx, so we would go to her games. I went to her camp just because she's so versatile, and I think I kind of like, not exactly her game, but like pick like piece and parts of it. I like to emulate in just the work ethic, and she'll do whatever it takes to win. And so that's kind of what I like to emphasize. And I always watched Paige growing up too. She was, my dad and I would go to, when she was in 8th grade, she played on varsity too. So we would go and I would take a little stat pad and kind of just write like what she did good. And my dad always liked watching her play. And so he wanted me to see how hard she played and just how she was a taller guard too. He never wanted me to get stuck in the post. And so he wanted me to kind of see that how good she was able to play under stress. And and you never could tell, but just under that pressure of being an 8th grader playing for her good team. So I feel like those two I watched the most as I was a kid.
Yeah. And so with being 5'11" in 8th grade, you probably, even at the varsity level, there aren't that many women that are 5'11", right? But you probably, as your dad said, you don't want to just be a post player, right? You're kind of thinking for the long term. All right, we're gonna have to score. You're gonna have to ball handle. At what point were you always a good ball handler from the get go, or was there a point where you're like, I'm 5'11", I just want to back people down and I can score every time?
No, since literally 4th grade, I was always the tallest on the team, but my dad would make sure I worked on my ball handling, and was he always wanted me to be like the point guard where I would have to make the decisions and stuff. And so on all my teams, from 4th grade, I would basically be the point guard, and just kind of, because we worked on my ball handling so much, my dad and I, that kind of just went through high school. And then once I got to high school, I was still the tallest on the team, but they had me play the 1 and 2. But then I also played the 5 when we had smaller guards in, and right. We needed a bucket. I could post someone up, and I wasn't very strong back then. So I fell a lot on the ground, but just kind of throughout the years gotten a little stronger. And I've just always tried to keep my.
When I got my growth spurt, I was so clumsy. I don't know if you went through this, but I grew 6 inches in 6 months, and it was, I don't know if you had that experience, but I literally couldn't walk at times because my legs grew too quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
Looking like Bambi out there, baby Bambi.
Yes, for sure, like a baby deer that just got born.
So Olivia, you mentioned playing travel basketball and soccer. 2-part question: when did you realize? Did you kind of pick basketball, or did it come to you? And then secondly, when did you realize, oh, I am that good, I can play at the highest levels? Did you have that moment?
Yeah, so soccer was my main sport all growing up, till about 8th grade. Then that's when I decided.
Then you dropped 40.
Yeah. But that's kind of that year, that varsity year was when I was because I played club soccer during that high school basketball season, and it was hard to go from basketball practice to soccer. But then I kind of realized I had more fun doing it. And I didn't realize anything could possibly happen till I think that 7th grade summer going into 8th grade. I was at this camp called Check Me Out Nation. It was in Minnesota, and there were Gopher players there, just helping at the camp and talking about how hard college basketball was, and how you really need to love it to do it, and you need how much talent it takes. And so I just had never thought about playing in college basketball wise. I always thought I'd play soccer. And I just talked to my dad, and I was maybe I could play D3 both, soccer and basketball. I was do you think I'd be good enough to play D3 basketball? and like then I could play soccer too, like just play both to so I could keep playing. And he's like, yeah, like who knows, like you just have to keep working hard. Like we thought that was a reach for basketball, and so just then I just kept working, and during COVID mostly trained a lot. And yeah, then once I got my first offer, that was January of my 8th grade year from Minnesota. I was when I started to be like, okay, like this is like I didn't believe
I have a career in this. Like this could possibly work out.
That is, by the way, so not normal. That's absurd.
Yeah.
14 years old.
Well, they saw her drop 40. They're like, done. Send it out. That's awesome.
Crazy. No, that's awesome. Obviously, it's worked out. We're glad that you're at the other M school.
Me too.
Here. So yeah, we're happy to have you. By the way, I put up your points per game this season on the pod here. I noticed that you're at 16.2. Sila's at 16.1. So have you guys, is there a little bit of a battle internally of like, all right, you dropped 17 today and your points per game went up by 0.1.
No, I feel like I don't even look at it, honestly. I mean, sometimes it's hard when you have a bad game, like, oh, like that sucks. But like whenever one person has a not great game, the other person's gonna step in and do it. And so I think we don't really compete against each other. Like we want to win, we want to do whatever it takes for the team to win. And so like I feel like we support each other really well, and we don't like no one really on our team, no one really looks at the stats and is like, she's averaging blah blah, but she's averaging what, like the other number. So then we're just like, we're gonna go play. We're gonna play well together. And I think this year has shown like that we can do good things together. And we need other people. You need other people to help the team. So I think any given day, anyone can go off. And so I love playing with her. She's the most selfless person to play with, is all for the team, hard worker. So I think we complement each other really well.
I got to give it to you guys both because I think it's pretty unique, especially in the NIL era, to have 2 5-star All-Americans come in and be able to share that, stardom, if you will, right? Share the center court and not be focused on that at all, right? Because, there are a lot of men and women right now that, are, whether it's chasing a bag or trying to just get what they deserve, right? And so I got to applaud both of you because it feels like from the get-go when I met you and now to this day, that is like not even, a topic in your mind, which is pretty cool. So one other thing I wanted to talk about as we were talking about ball handling was, Danny Wolf also is a 7-footer who can handle the ball and be a point guard if he needs to.
Yeah.
Have you guys like talked about that? Have you, worked on things together? Have you had that chance or not really?
We I haven't talked to him about that, but he's crazy good. I don't know how he can be that tall and be able to, he literally looks like a point guard, or like when he's handling it. So he's a mismatched nightmare. So I do need to talk to him about that. We don't talk that much, but maybe I should. Yeah.
I don't know how much longer he's going to be here, by the way.
True.
I don't know. I mean, there's not many 7-footers with handles and a shot that can get to the lane and rebound. NBA is probably,
they're calling.
Yeah.
They're calling. And so, okay, speaking of moves, what is your go? All right, I need a bucket. We're down 2 or down. Call it down 1. The game's on the line. You've got a one-on-one situation, so there's not really like a play drawn up. What's your go-to move to go win the game?
I'm doing a little hezzy, attacking hard right, and then spinning and finishing left. It's my go-to.
The left hand, I like that a lot.
Yeah. It's my go-to. I love
it. If there are any other scouts watching this, we'll cut that out.
No, but hopefully it doesn't make it to the field of the NCAA tournament coaches.
Yeah, but I like finishing with the left. I feel like that's unique as well because most people would stick with the right.
Yeah, I'm most people.
I don't have I'm going to hoop at Valor today at 3, and so I mean, I have no right or left. And so, it's just kind of whatever happens.
Weather's been nice. I went out to our courts over here at our apartment complex. I was putting some shots. I was like, nah, it's the wind. The wind pulled it. You know what I mean? I gotta get in somewhere with climate controlled conditions.
There you go. All right. So heading into the NCAA tournament, Selection Sunday is coming up. Is there a setup like in the locker room that you guys are going to have the camera on and all that stuff?
And we're going to Coach's house. So we're going to have practice and then get showered and stuff and probably eat at her house.
All right. There you go. Well, we're excited. We'll be watching. Super excited for you guys. Obviously, we're really excited about what's right in front of you in this NCAA tournament coming out. Hopefully, that 5, 6, 7 seed, something like that, get a good matchup. I think the thing is, you just got to play game by game, right? And
survive in advance, man.
I don't know why I'm giving you advice right now because I've never been in the NCAA tournament, but from a fan who's watched a lot of them, you survive in advance, get out of that first weekend, and then anything can happen.
For sure. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, I have one more completely off-topic question. Olivia, what is your go-to? You've been here for a little bit of time in Ann Arbor. We live in the area. I live in Ann Arbor. Justin's, stone's throw away. What's your favorite spot for just, a good meal? Where are you going?
My favorite's Frida's.
Yeah, okay.
Ooh,
down with that.
Yeah.
I for sure thought you were going to say stray hen because every student athlete says stray hen.
I don't love stray hen.
Thank you.
I like jagged better.
Okay.
Straight hen, but
jagged fork is like, as somebody who's not a student, it's hard to get into.
Yeah,
you guys camp out. I feel like it's like a midnight release of like we got to get in there. I'll see how long the wait is, and we'll just walk elsewhere. It's just too much.
I would agree, but yeah,
every time I walk, I swear I've been there like twice or 3 times. Davis and Max and all those football guys are there literally every time.
It's funny.
The one time we went there, Hunter Dickinson had walked in and then left. This was a couple of years ago, and then it was right before the football season started, and these guys were freshmen, like Will Johnson, Kenneth Grant, like all these guys who are now going to the NFL. So it's a popular hangout spot.
Yeah,
for sure.
I can't imagine what KG's what his meal is because he's a mammoth of a man. So yeah. So jagged fork, Frida's. Frida's is a staple too. I love it.
So good. Just wash that burger down.
Yeah.
So good.
Love that. All right. Well, good luck come next week. We're super excited for you for this tournament. We're super excited about hopefully the next 3 years, unless the WNBA might come calling too. You never know. Very just excited about this era here of Michigan women's basketball for you guys and looking forward to everything. Where can people follow you at?
Instagram, Olivia.Olson44.
There you go. What kind of content's going up there? Are we doing like TikTok dances? What are we doing?
I'm not a big dancer, but I like to post some photo dumps, and TikTok I like to post with my teammates, so that's the same as my Instagram. Just a little bit of everything. Some videos, some NIL stuff. So yeah.
Some pictures with some cool captions, as the kids would do nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to be there, Justin.
It's
passed us by. Like I can't come up with like a hard caption at 29 years old and a father. I just can't do it anymore.
At this point, it's just like March photo dump. That's all I got. So yeah, keep it clean. But all right, for us, you can follow us at Blue by 90 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Blue by 90 Podcast on YouTube, and blueby90.com. We appreciate you. Olivia, we appreciate you. Thanks for coming on, and go Blue.
Go Blue.
Go Blue. Thanks for having me.